Good morning. My name is Carl Harrington. I'm the president of the IWMF, and on behalf of the entire Board of Trustees, I want to welcome you to Providence and the 21st IWMF Educational Forum. Now I'm really the warm-up act for Dr. Ansel, so I'm going to do a few things. I'll tell you about that in a minute. But Providence is one of my favorite cities in the world, and I hope you guys all get a chance to get out of here and see a little bit of it. Believe it or not, there are parts of it that are nicer than this room. It's one of my favorite cities for a simple reason. In 1972, right out of college at Hamilton College, I came to Providence, and I came here to get a master's in teaching degree at Brown University, which is just up the hill in some direction. I'm not sure where we are in this hotel, but about half a mile from here. And I came to get this master's in teaching program, and there were 52 people in that program. There were 26 of us on the history side and 26 on the English side. And that summer, one day, a bunch of us went off to Cape Cod, which isn't too far away, and I met this young woman in the program. And we played Frisbee on the beach and in the ocean for, it seemed like hours. And I thought, my God, this girl is fun. Well, it's 44 years later, and that woman is the love of my life and my wife, Eleanor Levy. So that's why Providence is my favorite city, because in both the name and the sense of good fortune that put me on the path to my most important relationship. Now, do any of you have one of these? You got something like this that might ring. You got an Apple, an iPad, a wristwatch. Can you turn it off? Because we really don't want that ringing right in the middle of a presentation like from Dr. Ansel or Dr. Trian or someone. It can wait. So here we are at our 21st Ed Forum. You're going to learn a lot of incredibly important things in the next few days, but what I'm going to tell you right now might be the most important thing, the most useful thing anyway, for right now. You ready? Do I have everybody paying attention? This is important. The restrooms. The restrooms are out that door. You go left to the end, you go left again, and you go down. You all remember where the registration booth is. It's across from there. Okay, so that's very important to know. The theme of this year's Ed Forum is Imagine a Cure, Pathways to Progress. I'll talk about more about this theme tonight, but keep listening throughout the day and throughout the weekend about Pathway to Progress news. And thanks to the donation of WMers like all of you, we're making significant progress in research, and we're getting closer every day to finding a cure for our disease. Now, before we get started, I want to do three things. Okay, number one, if you look around, there's a lot of people in this room. This is the all-time record number of attendees. We have 310, 315 people here. That's 25 or 30 people more than we've ever had before. And of course, with that comes a few issues. Like, I understand we've run out of packets, information packets, and we're rationing those. Registration packets. That'll be fixed. We also, you notice that there's some people in the back who have rows, because people came to me and said, Carl, you really should shut off the registration. I said, no, we're not going to do that, because if you're newly diagnosed and you wanted to come to this and we told you you couldn't come because you didn't register earlier enough, and you say, well, I didn't know I had the disease, how could I register? So what I want you to do is treat everybody here like family, and just make room, pretend it's Thanksgiving, and make room for Uncle Joe at the table. The second thing I want to do is invite you to do a little exercise with me so we can try to figure out who all is here. And then the third thing is I want to let you know what to expect over the next couple days. So before you settle in, we're going to do that little exercise. This little exercise requires you to actually, most of the people in the room, to stand up once or twice. So make sure you've got your coffee out of the way, your purses out of the way, your laptop out of the way, so you can be ready to stand up. Okay, now, we'll see if this works. What we're going to do is a little exercise, because I don't want anybody to hurt themselves while they're craning their necks around. So we're going to do a little neck rolling exercise. Okay, ready? So roll your head to the left, to the right, up, down. I'll go that way again, like that. Okay, that's very good. Now, this is for the advanced people who are really curious and want to crane their necks around. We're not going to spell IWMF. Okay, here's the I. Good, you guys look silly too. Here's the W. Okay, now the M, and the F is the hardest of all. Go up, cross it, come down, cross it. Okay, good. Now, does anybody want to do our full name? No, I didn't think so, because I counted. Do you know how many letters there are in that? 54. And we do have lunch scheduled, so we're not going to do that. Okay, but now that you're ready for rubbernecking, if this is your first Ed Forum, will you please stand up? That means everyone, whether you're a patient, a caregiver, a speaker, or whatever. If you've never been to one, keep standing for a minute. Overall, about a third of the people here are first-timers. So you people that are sitting, look at those people that are standing and adopt one of them. Take care of them. They're your new friends. Okay, you guys can sit down now. Now, for you guys who are just standing, I guarantee this will be the best IWMF Ed Forum you've ever been to. Okay, now, everybody who's a caregiver, could you stand up? So if you're a spouse, a significant other, a mother, father, sibling, child, presenter, pharma person, anybody who, if you're here to support anybody, please stand up, and let's give these people a round of applause. Okay, you guys can sit down now. Now, you can tell, by the way, in case you don't know, if you look at your neck, you can tell which one you are, in case you're confused. If you've got a red lanyard, a lanyard just a fancy word for the ribbon that's holding your name tag. If you've got a red one, you're a patient. If you've got a blue one, you're not, you're a caregiver. And you might see somebody with a yellow one. A yellow one just means that person doesn't want their picture taken. So if you've got the wrong color, go out to the registration desk and get it fixed. Not right now, later on. Okay, now this is going to get a little harder, but with all the WM patients stand up. The hint, you got the red on. Okay, let's give them a round of applause. Now stay standing. Stay standing for a second. Now, anybody diagnosed in the last 5 years, sit down. Okay, those people who sat down, look at the people that are still standing up. You want to make friends with those people. There are people that have gone down the path that you might go down. Make friends with them. They'll help you in your journey. Okay, that's going to get even more complicated now. So if the people who are still standing, if you were diagnosed in the last 10 years, sit down. Now, for you people that are, who all have just sat down, isn't it reassuring to see the number of people still standing? Now let's do one more experiment. I want everybody who was diagnosed this century to sit down, meaning anybody who was diagnosed 2000 or later. So only people standing should be diagnosed last century, 1999 or earlier. Again, look around. Our data shows that there are 17 people. "17 people diagnosed last century." For you people that were newly diagnosed, that's pretty good, isn't it? Okay, you guys can sit down before you fall down. Now, recently on the IWMF talk list, Brad from Honolulu came up with a phrase that struck a chord with a bunch of us, and that phrase was Walden friend. So what I want you each to do is regard everyone here as a friend, as a Walden friend. So now before we move on, this is always a dangerous thing to do as a presenter, I want you to all pick somebody near you and introduce yourself, somebody you don't know. Go ahead, make a new Walden friend. I'll wait. How dull is that? Okay, now you've got your new Walden friends, and making connections is what Walden's Drums is all about. It's one of the most important parts of this Ed Forum, and that's what the support groups, that's what the talk list, and that's what the Lifeline are all about. So, okay, now I've covered, I said I was going to do 3 things. So far I've done 2. One, I've acknowledged there's a lot of people here, our record number. Number 2, we've looked around and we found out who's here, and we've done our neck exercises. I still want to do IWF in all the letters, but okay, we won't do that. So now we're going to do another exercise. Assuming you have a packet of information, a registration packet, looks like this. Everybody got one or near one? We'll open it up. And the first thing I want to do is have you look at the list of logos. There's a long list of pharma companies that help support us. Acerta, Amgen, Celgene, Diplomat, Gilead, Idera, Pharmacyclics, Janssen, Takeda, and LLS. Could you please give them a round of applause and thanks? And as you probably noticed, several of those companies have exhibit tables outside. So stop by if you haven't. Stop by Idera, stop by LLS, stop by Pharmacyclics, stop by Diplomat. See what you can learn from them. Now, the next thing to do is check out this. Now, I'm a guy, so I have like 10 colors in my vocabulary. This is probably, I don't know, goldenrod or something. It's now on the floor, but I don't need it because I know what it is. Basically, I'm going to go down. Oh, look, it's coming back. Thank you. What I want you to do is take a look at this. This you should carry with you during the weekend. Basically, we're going to spend almost all of our time in this room or the room next door, which is where the meals are. However, there are breakout sessions. The breakout sessions in general are on the 3rd floor. Now, how do you get to the 3rd floor? You can take the elevator, or you can take the escalator to the 2nd floor and walk up the curved staircase. And so you need to look at this and figure out where and when you want to be someplace. Also in your packet, now that you're all rapidly studying that, there's a list of the biographies. You'll see Dr. Ansel that I'm going to introduce next, and you'll also see short biographies of all of our breakout leaders. And so you can look at this group of people. It is an incredibly impressive group of people. And do you want to know a secret? All those people present to us for free. All we do is we pay for their travel costs, but they leave their families behind, first, when they're making the presentations, second, when they're coming here, and third, when they endlessly answer your questions. So we should be very grateful to all of our presenters. What else is in your magic packet? Well, you notice that they're not in your packet, but in front of you, you have a printed copy of the slides that Dr. Ansel is going to use. Now, whenever we got the slides in far enough in advance, we made a copy for you. So you can take your notes right on that slide. You don't have to spend your time frantically trying to write down what's on the slide. You can write down what the meaning of the slide is to you instead. And if you don't have a copy of the presentation, it means we didn't get it in time to make the copies. And also you'll see the way this is going to work is that when Dr. Ansel presents and everybody else, he'll present for a while, and then you see those 2 microphones standing there in the aisles. If you'll just go up and line up there and ask your questions that way, that will be convenient. And make sure you get close enough to the microphone so people can hear you. There's going to be a buffet lunch next door at noon. There'll be a couple lines. You get through there pretty easily. There will be 2 more presentations this afternoon, followed by 5 breakouts. Those breakouts are on the disease treatments, like ibrutinib or Velcade. So if you want to go there and talk to somebody, another patient who's had a treatment that you might be having in the future, don't miss those. And caregivers, we haven't forgotten about you, because there's also a separate caregivers meeting at the same time. Then at 6:15, there's a president's reception with 5 cash bars. I mean, it is our 21st after all, so I guess it's legal. And 5 bars seems to be important. The reception will be followed by dinner. You're going to have to hear me again after dinner. There is no such thing as a free dinner. And then, more importantly, you'll get a chance to, we're not going to have a keynote speaker this year. We're going to have a fellow WMer, Allie Handel, is going to present. She's a fine rock musician, and she'll be presenting to us tonight, or sharing her music capabilities. I've seen her before. She's fabulous. I think you'll really enjoy her. Few more things. Saturday night is dinner on your own. Again, if you look in this, at this sheet, single sheet, there's a whole bunch of restaurants that are all within close walking distance of this place. And on the back, you'll see a number of them that have agreed to give us a discount. So why don't you go ahead, make reservations for 4, 6, 8, or 50 of your closest new friends, your new Walden friends, and go out with people you don't know. And when you go there, thank the restaurants for offering us a discount, and try to tip on the pre-discount amount. What else do I have to tell you? On Sunday, there's the ever-popular Ask a Doctor presentation. This year, Dr. Kyle is not with us, because Dr. Kyle just had a replacement knee surgery at the last minute. So he's not going to be here, but Dr. Guy Sherwood's going to take his place, or try to. So it's a tough shoes to fill. Now, in this packet, there are also evaluation forms. And they look like this. So please, fill these out. Fill them out as you go along, because probably all of you, like me, have some memory issues. So as you go along, fill them out. You can rip them off, drop them in the box out at the registration booth. If you want next year's Ed Forum to be better than this year's, tell us what was good, what was bad. I actually do the analysis of all these. I read every single comment. So you got something to say, let me know. We'll take it into account and try to make next year even better. Now, speaking of next year, I'm happy to announce where next year's Ed Forum is going to be. Next year is going to be in downtown Phoenix, Arizona, at the Renaissance Hotel. It's going to be May 19th to May 21st. So if you ever want to go to Sedona or the Grand Canyon or Utah or Petrified Forest, it's also very close to the Arizona Diamondbacks baseball stadium. But who really cares about the Arizona Diamondbacks? But write that down again. It's May 19th to 21st in Phoenix, Arizona. And speaking of that, if you want to go basically for free, what you have to do is go out there and buy raffle tickets. You'll see how it works, but it's a good cause, trust me. And now, some of you on the way in were looking at the posters that are set up out there. There's a whole series of posters about the research that we've been sponsoring. Read those. Most of them tell you about your money at work. So make sure you look at the research posters. Now that's the end of the third thing I wanted to tell you about. So thank you for your attention, and have fun while you're here.